Hi, my name is Yi, and I'm a third-year PhD student from the University of Cambridge. My research is about dialogic teaching, digital storytelling, and students' collaborative, creative, and critical thinking. I want to start my presentation with a concept that everyone is familiar with: storytelling. Everyone enjoys a good story, whether it is a fairy tale or a personal anecdote. Storytelling is an essential mode of communication in human history, served to share knowledge, express ideas, and entertain and build connections. In education, storytelling is also a common teaching method. This study considers stories from a more serious context, unlike traditional stories that just recount events. The goal here is to use stories to spark deep comprehension, logical progression, and meaningful discussion and interaction. These features make stories central to creating new knowledge. In digital age, storytelling evolves into digital storytelling, which harness the power of multimedia elements like videos, images, and music to expand its possibilities. Previous research has identified 8 different types of outcomes of digital storytelling. The present study mainly focuses on the cognitive outcomes, which refers to creative and critical thinking. The focus stems from their importance in education. Many discussions about the development of the 21st century skills highlight creative and critical thinking as essential competence for the future. Many previous studies have confirmed that digital storytelling can promote creative and critical thinking. However, most of these studies treat digital storytelling as an intervention in the classroom, using summative assessment such as standardized tests to measure students' creative and critical thinking outcomes. However, little is known about how teachers and students interact to cultivate this thinking within the classroom. Additionally, since standardized tests can only assess individual outcomes, the development of collective creative and critical thinking remains unknown. Based on these identified gaps, this study considered creative and critical thinking as a group endeavor and explored their developmental process. Moreover, the demanding nature of creating stories also brings challenges for students. For example, students' digital stories were observed to closely resemble teachers' templates. Some students may feel lost when they are unfamiliar with how to think critically and independently and articulate their thought. Therefore, to expand the cognitive outcome of digital storytelling, classroom dialogue and dialogic teaching are considered as tools for fostering collective creative and critical thinking. Extending from the interactive form where verbal exchanges occurs in conversations, dialogue involves a relationship-building process that based on trust and mutual understanding. It is also an intersubjective process where individuals are open to others, embracing differences and the potential for new meanings. Dialogue's potential lays the groundwork for dialogic teaching practice, which involves actively engaging students in listening, contributing by sharing ideas, justifying contributions, and engaging with others' views. Previous studies give language a central role in cultivating thinking. Vygotsky described language as a cultural tool for sharing knowledge and participating in cultural practices. Meanwhile, language also serves as a psychological tool for internalizing the cultural frameworks into inner thinking. Moreover, developing collective intelligence involves the idea that each listener might interpret a speaker's words differently based on their own perspective and background knowledge. This diversity in interpretation helps everyone gain a deeper understanding and contribute to a continuing joint process of sense-making, similar to the concept of interthinking. Therefore, it is appropriate to explore the effect of social and contextual influences on collective creative and critical thinking in the light of dialogic theory and the broader scope of language. How can dialogic teaching in the digital storytelling-based classroom foster students' creative and critical thinking? To answer this question, it is necessary to understand the affordances of digital storytelling, which refers to possibility for action that an environment provides to an actor. Specifically in digital storytelling, various tools and content contribute to complex multimodal communication. Using different modes allows for various ways to represent and express ideas, which can help learners deepen or change their understanding when creating digital stories. Secondly, unlike traditional storytelling with a single author, digital story expand authorship boundaries, empowering more students' voices. The distributed authorship enables communication beyond face-to-face interactions, allowing authors from different locations to share experiences, promote dialogue, and exchange ideas from new perspectives. Thirdly, when students collaborate to create digital stories, it helps them communicate their ideas and discover new ways of thinking and working together. Finally, digital technology allows users to document, trace, and revise their progress without time and space constraints. Therefore, through revisiting and reconstructing digital artifacts over time, students can interpret, negotiate, modify, and analyze different ideas, fostering meaning reconstruction and collective learning. However, it is reported that dialogue seldom happens in the classroom. The proportion of teachers' one-sided output always exceeds that of students' participation. As a result, this study highlights the need for a professional development program for teachers focused on dialogic teaching in digital storytelling classrooms. Such a program could also influence students' collaborative, creative, and critical thinking skills. To achieve the research objective, this study used a design-based research approach, which aims to produce new theories, artifacts, and practice that account for and potentially impact learning and teaching. The overall research design is as follows. Please note that this presentation will only showcase the results of the preliminary investigation and design phase, which is highlighted in green here. It involves a comprehensive analysis of the literature. Additionally, a pilot study will be conducted to collect pre-intervention data. These two processes inform the design of the initial conjecture map. For the pilot study, the tool used for making digital story is called CapCut, which is a video editing software available in Chinese. The information of participants is listed here. They are from one international school, one public school, and one tutoring company in China. The design of the pilot is to observe how teachers and students interact with each other in the digital storytelling-based context. Here is an example of the conversation in the student-led session. Student 1 asks herself, what does the peach blossom symbolize during the Spring Festival? Peach, the luck in having romantic encounters. She continues to talk to herself and laughed. The teacher heard the words and said, good luck. Here the teacher tried to translate what student 1 said into English. But clearly, student 1 was not satisfied with the translation good luck, as it is very different from the luck in having romantic encounters. Student 1 started to search the question on the internet. What does the peach blossom symbolize during the Spring Festival? It symbolizes the luck in having romantic encounters and also means the evil will be driven away. Student 1 read the answer from the internet. Student 2 heard the words and said, to be healthier, which add his understanding of the evil will be driven away. And student 1 continued to read the answer from the internet, to harvest love and to be lucky every year. Sentence 1 to 2 are about student 1's thinking process, but she read it aloud when making the digital story, which is an example of an interesting discovery of the pilot study, that is students' self-talk. Prior research has shown that self-talk is important for social, emotional, and cognitive development. Firstly, self-talk reflects students' motivation and active engagement in tasks. Secondly, self-talk demonstrates their ability to consider different strategies and handle complex situations, fostering self-regulated learning and problem-solving skills. I consider self-taught as an opportunity for opening a dialogic space. Students should be provided with opportunity to expand their self-talk by engaging in dialogue with others. This enables them to learn from diverse perspectives and promote personal growth. The initial analysis reveals that during student-led sessions, there was a significant increase in student participation and the use of dialogic strategies compared to teacher-led sessions. In the teacher-led sessions, the classroom conversation followed a strict initiate, respond feedback loop, where the teacher would call on students one by one. This approach often makes students nervous when they could not answer the questions. Furthermore, the teacher mainly asks close-ended questions that require short response, such as yes or no, dis discouraging deeper thinking. The teacher also had a tendency to answer the questions herself without giving students enough time to respond. Similarly, the student has become accustomed to relying on the teacher for a quick answer instead of taking the time to think and respond independently. This pattern can be described as an answer-feeding practice, where the student rely on receiving answers rather than actively engaging in critical thinking and formulating their own responses. Also, in terms of the role of technology, it serves a dual purpose in the classroom. Firstly, it acts as an information source for students, enabling them to search for new words and information independently. Secondly, it highlighted a shift in the power dynamic within the classroom, as it demonstrated that the teacher was not the solely authority on knowledge. When students were dissatisfied with the teacher's answers, they took the initiative to search for answers themselves. Moreover, the challenge of the teacher's view also shows students' critical thinking. Considering pilot findings, this study expands its review of current literature to gather academic insights that could inform solutions to these practical challenges. Previous studies showed that the environment aspect of learning is critical for thinking development, and that classrooms should be designed as a thinking supportive environment. Moreover, to enhance teachers' dialogic teaching, it is essential that they grasp dialogic functions and learn various thought moves. Lastly, for effective use of technology in the digital storytelling classroom, teachers should develop a diverse set of knowledge. Combining the results above, the initial conjecture map is developed. If teachers can build a positive classroom environment, understand different dialogic functions, develop diverse pathways of dialogic strategies, and acquire different types of knowledge, then teachers' dialogic teaching can foster students' collective, creative, and critical thinking in the digital storytelling-based classrooms. That's all about my presentation. Thank you for listening.